Public appearance since her split from Keith Urban.
We've been through a lot together.
We've got a timeline for it now, and the time is it's now.
For nearly 20 years, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were seen as the perfect Hollywood-Nashville love story. An Oscar-winning actress and a country music star who overcame the odds. But behind the red carpets and duets, things were falling apart. Court documents now reveal Nicole filed for divorce after 19 years, with sources saying she fought to save the marriage. His first public performance post-split showed no wedding ring, no love song for Nicole, and altered lyrics that hinted at rewritten history. The golden couple image has shattered, and Nicole's side is finally emerging. We take a closer look at what made them so admired, and what led to the end of one of Hollywood's most iconic love stories. Nicole, the shy dreamer turned Hollywood royalty. Nicole Mary Kidman was born in Honolulu, Hawaii in 1967 to Australian parents who were temporarily abroad. Her father, Anthony Kidman, was a clinical psychologist and biochemist, and her mother, Janelle, was a nurse and educator. When she was still a child, the family returned to Sydney, where she grew up in a household steeped in both discipline and ambition. Unlike the bright, poised figure she later became, young Nicole was painfully shy. She would blush so intensely when asked to speak in class that her teachers worried she lacked confidence. Yet, that timidity was paired with a powerful imagination. She sought refuge in performance, first in ballet, then drama classes, and finally in youth theater groups where she could channel the emotions she found hard to express in daily life. By her teens, her talent was undeniable. Australia's film industry at the time was blossoming, and she seized her chance, landing roles in television movies, and eventually was cast in the 1983 cult thriller BMX Bandits. Her porcelain features and height made her stand out, but it was her emotional range that convinced directors she was destined for more. By the late 1980s, Hollywood came calling. It was during this rise that Nicole met Tom Cruise, her first great love and her first great heartbreak. They got married in 1990, becoming one of Hollywood's most photographed couples. For Nicole, the marriage brought prestige, but also pain. Scientology, which is Tom's religion, cast a long shadow over their union. While she rarely speaks in detail about those years, it is well known that when the marriage ended in 2001, she lost not just a husband, but also primary custody of their two adopted children, Isabella and Connor. This wound cut deep. Friends later revealed that Nicole felt stripped of motherhood itself, relegated to the edge of her children's lives. For a woman who longed for a family of her own, the rupture would become one of the defining traumas of her life.
If you can't read your phone up close and watch TV from across the room with the same pair of glasses, you need to see this deal. Vision Sync glasses automatically adapt to your eyesight. No prescription needed, no constantly switching pairs, just perfect vision. They don't use standard lenses. Our Focus Optic liquid lenses automatically adjust to your exact needs. Whether you have nearsightedness, astigmatism, or presbyopia, they do the focusing for you. Plus, they adapt to changing light, blocking sun glare and protecting against UV rays. Crisp, crystal clear vision all day long with just a single pair of glasses. It's the last day of our Black Friday offer. Click Learn More right now to grab yours.
It is perhaps no coincidence that when she later met Keith Urban, she was determined to rebuild the dream of home and family she had lost. Keith, the troubled dreamer with a guitar. Keith Lionel Urban was born across the Tasman Sea in Whangarei, New Zealand, the same year as Nicole. His family moved to Queensland, Australia, when he was still young, and it was there that his personality began to take on a restless and rebellious hue that was constantly seeking some form of escape. His father, Bob, owned a convenience store but was also passionate about country music, a genre not exactly mainstream in suburban Australia. He encouraged young Keith to pick up the guitar, and by the age of 6, he was already performing. Country music, with its tales of heartbreak and redemption, offered him both identity and therapy. But while his musical talent was prodigious, his home life was less harmonious. Allegedly, he lived in a family marked by tension and financial struggles, which may have contributed to his lifelong search for stability. In his teens, he performed in talent shows and small bars, cultivating not just his sound but also his image as the brooding country outsider with a rock star's edge. He soon dropped out of school to pursue music full-time. For Keith, there was no plan B. Music was his only ticket out, but along with the talent came demons. By his 20s, he was already experimenting with alcohol and harmful substance. Fame, when it arrived, didn't steady him. It amped up the chaos. He moved to Nashville in the early 1990s, hungry for recognition, and after years of grinding on the circuit, his breakthrough finally came in 1999 with his self-titled American debut album. Suddenly, Keith was country music's new heartthrob, known for his guitar prowess, tousled hair, and a voice that dripped with longing. However, behind the scenes, the success was laced with self-destruction. By the time he met Nicole in 2005, he had already been in and out of rehab. He lived with the perpetual fear that his addictions might cost him everything he had fought to build. Nicole and Keith seemed, on paper, to come from different worlds, a case of Hollywood prestige versus Nashville grit. What really bound them was the baggage they carried. Nicole bore the scars of a lost family and a marriage that made her wary of control and betrayal. Keith carried the volatility of a man who had known both obscurity and fame, but never quite conquered the urge to sabotage himself. When their paths finally crossed, both were at turning points. Nicole had re-emerged from her divorce stronger than ever, winning an Academy Award for The Hours and cementing her reputation as one of the greatest actresses of her generation. Yet she remained emotionally raw, craving stability after a decade of turbulence. Keith, meanwhile, was a star on the rise, carving out his space in the hyper-competitive world of American country music. But the trappings of fame, endless touring, temptation, and the demands of an industry that prizes